I'm Jeff Cornwall, and this is the Entrepreneurial Mind. Today our guest is Courtney Jones. We'll be back to talk with her after this. Welcome, Courtney.
Thank you.
So I think to understand your business, it's best we understand your story. So tell us kind of your background, and then we'll kind of get into how that turned into a business.
Yeah. So I went to the University of Tennessee, graduated, thought about going to law school, got a great offer with a corporation to do some staffed consulting. Had lots and lots of opportunities with that company. I was there for about 15 years and around kind of the southeast region, but I traveled a lot.
Right.
The company was headquartered in Chicago, so I went back and forth. Sometimes
A lot of time in OHare.
A lot of times. So OHare for me is the Bermuda Triangle. Like
Right.
I could get in, I just never could get out. It's
Right.
a very real experience.
Right.
I should earn points for the times that I've slept there. And so I enjoyed it a lot, and it was a great life, and they were a good company, and there were lots of opportunities for growth there. And then about 10 years into our marriage, my husband and I decided to start a family. And that's when kind of everything changed.
And it changes sometimes more than you realize it's going to change.
Yeah, I think you can't possibly anticipate
Right.
because it's different for every person, it's different for every family, and some of those you just kind of have to know it when you see it. So I had every intention of going back to work full-time
Yep.
to that corporation where I'd been and climbing the corporate ladder as fast and furiously as possible. And I did go back, but I did not have the same fulfillment. And there's really not another word to describe.
I bet you were homesick.
Yeah, it was like when I was working, I worried about what I was missing at home. And when I was home, I was always concerned about whether or not I was meeting expectations and
Sure.
delivering on what I had promised my employer.
Sure.
So that kind of became a struggle for me. I wanted an opportunity to continue to advance my career, but I also wanted to be more available to my family and to our newborn son. And so I kind of sought out to find that.
Right. And so talk about the discovery of kind of where this business came from.
Yeah.
Because you had mentioned to me earlier, you realized you weren't the only person kind of in this new kind of weird space of being a professional who's now staying home most of the time, if not all the time, with a baby.
Yeah. So kind of the aha moment for me was as I was kind of making this transition. I had used to, in my previous pre-children corporate life, gone to all these networking events and cocktail hour from kind of like 5 to 7. And then as kind of my social life switched to being, baby's first birthday parties, I started looking around at kind of the company in the room and realizing that a lot of these women that I was talking to were smarter than me and had more impressive resumes than I did. And when I asked them, how do you contribute professionally? What do you do now? They would say, well, I'd love to do something, but I want to be with my family, and nobody has a need for a part-time attorney. Or have you ever heard of a CPA that just works 10 hours a week? It just doesn't exist. And so over a period of months, it became...
But the answer is, yeah, it really does exist, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does if you look for it, right? They're not... readily accessible, not right now.
Right.
So it's out there if you know how to find it, if you know how to negotiate for it. But most people don't know how to do that, don't have the desire to do it, and a lot of people just don't have the confidence to. And so
the name of the business is
MomSource Network.
MomSource Network.
Yeah.
.com.
That's right. MomSourceNetwork.com, and we advocate for flexible employment. So we help women, but certainly all types of candidates. You don't have to be a mom. We don't check for a C-section scar before you join the network.
So let's assume I am a young mother.
Sure.
All right, and I come to you and I say, you know what, I used to be in finance and in corporate America.
Right.
I don't want to work full time, but I do want to be engaged. What do you do for me? How would you help me at that point?
Yeah, well, first I would tell you welcome, and that opportunity exists. We'll ask you to kind of complete a profile where you tell us a little bit about you, upload your resume. Tell us certainly about your education and your experience.
Or is this done over the web?
Yep. First, you're going to do it via our website. That's the first step, is you're going to kind of upload your information, and you're going to be really specific, not just about what your kind of professional qualifications are, but what do you want to do? What is your availability? How many hours a week do you want to work? Are you willing to do some of that in an office? Do you want to work remotely 100% of the time? So we ask you in advance to define what that kind of ideal situation would be for you.
Okay.
Then you schedule a 1-hour consultation with one of our professional development advisors, and they'll do a Skype interview with you or a telephone interview and just get to know you a little bit better and understand what kind of the ideal scenario would be for you and your family and what you're looking for in terms of professional fulfillment. And then we'll start notifying you of potential opportunities that are a match. And you'll tell us, yes, absolutely, that looks like something I want to pursue. And if you find one that's a good fit, we'll take you all the way through the process. We'll prep you for your interview. We'll debrief with you after your interview, and we'll help you negotiate your salary and your schedule before you're off to work with your new employer and your flexible schedule.
So who pays you for what you do? I assume you get paid for what you do, I hope.
Yes,
Good.
we get paid for what we do.
Okay, good. So does the employer pay you like a traditional placement kind of service?
Yes, so our employers pay us a direct hire placement fee. So when they make a decision to hire one of our candidates, they pay us a fee that's a percentage of that candidate's salary.
Right.
And then our candidates pay a one-time $50 fee when they join the network, which covers the overhead associated with their kind of consultation and makes their profile visible in our system.
Right, okay. So you have to have a pretty good network of employers who kind of understand what you do in place. Is that the case? I mean, I know right now you're in 5 cities, right?
Yes.
So I assume you've got a good network of employers in each of those cities that is looking for high caliber people and willing to be flexible. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, we've got a great network of employers in those 5 cities, and we have employers that are all over the country who are interested in hiring remote staff. So not all of our employers have kind of a headquarters in one of those cities. But I think the common theme with the employers that we work with is that they're open-minded enough to say we're focused more on deadlines, client expectation, and results.
Right.
And we value those more than we do time card punches.
So some of these mothers then are able to work from home with
Yes.
this? Okay.
Yes, we have a lot of our candidates who are interested in 100% remote work, which means their interaction with their employer is via technology most of the time, but they're working from their home office.
What's the most common function in business where you see opportunities for this?
Yeah, so I think there are some obvious ones. We do a lot in accounting, finance, marketing, IT, industries that are already kind of progressive and are already finding ways to utilize technology. But we've hired everything from executive assistants to PhD microbiologists.
Wow. All right. So what are the growth plans? What do you want to do with this business?
Yeah, we want to make an impact. So we've found already that there are thousands of people who are in this situation where they say, I'd love to have an opportunity to have something less than kind of the full time. So while our emphasis started with moms, we're seeing that we have more and more retirees.
I was just going to say this, I might be knocking on your door as a boomer someday. Who's
Yes.
thought I was ready to retire.
Exactly.
And either emotionally wasn't ready or, like a lot of boomers, financially not as ready as I thought.
Exactly. Well, it's the exact same predicament that I went through as a new mom, right? It's this idea of, for whatever reason, I want to continue to contribute in some capacity, but I don't necessarily want to do it 100 hours a week. So if you can think of your career as a dial instead of a switch, right? There are times in your life where you want to turn it up and go full throttle, and there are times that you might want to decelerate a little bit, but you want to stay engaged. That's what we try to help you connect to, right? Is employers who are forward thinking enough to say, what I want is the best talent and the best results from my organization, and that might not be kind of the traditional 40-hour-a-week work schedule.
So last question I got to ask you is, you certainly can negotiate that with these employers. How have you negotiated that with yourself as an entrepreneur? It's hard to dial that down. I mean, your goal was to have flexibility for your family. Have you figured out how to dial down
Yeah,
the expectations of being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, I would say I am imperfect for sure, and I don't have that perfect blend 100% of the time. What I will say is that I recognize that I have the autonomy, and so if it's really, really important to me to be there for the first day of school, then I'll make sure that my schedule allows me to do that. Would I ever be able to tell you or anybody else I work 20 hours a week and that's it? No, but that's not necessarily the blend that's a fit for me or for my family.
Right.
And it's different for every person. And so that's what we're saying is find the blend that's right for you, and don't let go of that. Don't assume that just because you haven't found it yet, it means it doesn't exist. It's out there. You got to work for it sometimes.
What an innovative idea. That's really cool.
Thank you.